G'day everyone, the great news is that we have some exclusive information from the developers of Pirates of Pangaea. So stay tuned after the trailer because this game is so much packed into it that it might take just a little bit to get through. Let's have a quick look at one of the many fun looking features, the treasure hunting system. Throughout our time in Pirates of Pangaea, which I'm just going to call Pop from now on, you collect pieces of a map. What sort of map, said no one to my obvious question? Well, a treasure map. So once we have all the pieces of the map, we combine those together on a cartography table, use our compass, and then set sail to see what we can find, which could be anything from a sunken pyramid to some sort of mysterious point of interest, and hopefully what we find inside makes the entire journey worthwhile. The background lore that we have so far is that we are a pilot that has crash landed in the Bermuda Triangle, which is not an ideal place to be living. The game will be sliced up into three main chapters, with the first being the crash into the triangle itself, and surprisingly the second will be the return home, and then the third will be something about a return to New Earth, although this last chapter will most likely not make it into early access. While we're there, we will encounter two factions that are essentially at war with each other, with one wanting to stay in the triangle itself and the other one to go home to their own timeline, which obviously is what we also want to do. There are mysteries to be solved, anomalies to investigate, and pirates to plunder. Thankfully, we won't have to be doing this all ourselves, with multiplayer allowing up to 4 people at this stage to join us on the land and sea, and it seems there's a lot to do on both. Be that the high seas combat, where we are blasting pirate ships, engaging with sea monsters, or on the land constructing our own little home in a patch of paradise. On the land we can set up farms to grow crops or even a brewery to make all the rum that we need. Food and drink both have the benefit of not just keeping us alive, but they also give us some strong buffs. For instance, if we're going down to a cold storm, then pack some brandy to help keep us warm and from freezing to death. The food and drink system is still being worked on, but there are obviously some systems in place such as an energy conservation system, meaning that if you're laying down or crouching, then you're obviously using less energy and so won't get hungry or thirsty as quickly. Swimming through the ocean is a difficult task because of being in the Bermuda Triangle, and so will tax you much more than it would normally. Luckily, you will be on a boat most of the time in the ocean. And of course, the skill system will also come into play with making you better at swimming the more that you use it. Throughout our time in Pop, there will be islands randomly appearing in the ocean, and we'll want to investigate these, because it's generally going to have two very important things for us. Clues to getting home, which is the ultimate goal of the game, and secondly, they are abundant in resources that we can use. Now, sea combat as a whole sounds pretty interesting in Pop. Firstly, the speed and handling of your ship will gauge how much damage your ship will take in combat, and also you want to be careful of the angle of your ship in relation to others, as you don't want to wind up copping a full battery of cannons from an enemy broadside. Also, you will have a bunch of ships to choose from, and they won't all just be an upgrade from each other. Instead, they will each have their own pros and cons. So we'll have to choose wisely on how we want to approach a situation. We won't be able to decorate or build on our ships just yet, but plans have been confirmed that this could happen in the future. As for the combat on foot, there won't be any combos to execute or anything like that, but instead we'll be able to parry sword attacks as well as dual wielding like a proper pirate. So holding a gun in one hand and a sword in the other sounds like a great time. Going back to basics, we will have the staple survival features of a hunger and thirst system, as well as hostile environments that will either end up cooking us or freezing us to death. So if you start to see some hurricanes or blizzards or acid rain, there's probably a good idea to seek some shelter. Although there is the flip side to this, where if you stay under hostile conditions, you'll begin to build up a tolerance to it. Not all environmental effects are bad though. You can discover wind tunnels that will give your ship a speed buff and help to either catch people or get away from them. So yeah, a good system of choices for the player there. Which leads us nicely into the skill system, which I've been told from the developers will be action based. So you can use a firearm and you will gain skill in firearms. Fix a ship and you'll get better at fixing ships, and so on. Skills will also go up from doing quests as well. So there'll be multiple ways to raise skills. Furthermore, when you sink an enemy ship, you'll want to steal their skills and secrets for skill increases. So it all sounds like we'll have a couple of different avenues to level up our skills, which is a great thing. Besides the skill system, you will be able to sneak, crawl, and sprint, which helps with sneak attacks, reducing aggro from mobs, and of course conserving energy, as we discussed earlier. Sprinting can even help avoid attacks like volleys and mortars, but this will end up costing us a lot more energy. Pop has a port trading system where you can obtain crates of supplies and then sell them in neighbouring ports to make plenty of gold to get more ships in a bottle or whatever you want. Now the manner in which you get these can be from either crafting them yourself, or let's say obtain them from a merchant ship that may or may not want to give them up. So all up, Pirates of Pangaea seems to have a lot to do and takes many different survival based systems that other games have been using and combines all of this into a land and sea adventure where we can go about hunting for treasure or just lay back on the beach cooking up the next batch of brandy for our mates. While Pop won't have procedural generation, this is done because of the lore and needing certain topography to exist, and that just wouldn't work if it's procedurally done. Despite not having procedural generation, they will be using generative algorithms to control the generation of random anomalies, which will be like little mini biomes, which will rise from the ocean and can contain like rare materials, maelstroms, or lost islands with treasures. Pirates of Pangaea has an early beta access sign up on the website, so go have a look now, and is set to release on Steam sometime in 2023, with an estimated 18 months of early access. And there is no news yet if it's going to be coming to consoles. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to that. Let me know what you thought about the game. Catch you later, guys.